From the Sunshine State to the Peach State, the 2021 iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama rolls on. Just 7 days ago, Set Esports laid down the title gauntlet with a 1-2 finish at the World Center of Racing. Today, though, the road for $25,000 heads to the Atlanta Motor Speedway, a track notoriously tough to pass at, where joker strategy can be vital. Hello and welcome to the iRacing Esports Network for coverage of the 2021 iRacing Rallycross World Championship. My name is Arjuna Kankipati, alongside is Paul Smith, with Tyler Maxon in the production truck controlling all the action. And Paul, it's been a busy week of iRacing World Championship action. Yesterday we saw the 4 drivers lock themselves in for the race for $100,000 in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. Today, we see the virtual dirt being slung by 28 of the best sim racers on the iRacing service. Tomorrow sees the Force Dynamics Grand Prix Championship return to Interlagos. What should be a thrilling race. But we're here in Hampton, Georgia. All-Stars about to have some fun.
Yeah, and they produced some tremendous excitement last week when we saw the All-Stars take to the field. And once again, we're going to see these guys really duke it out on track, and should promise to be some exciting action.
And so here's a look at the schedule from the Sunshine State to the Peach State. It's a busy week in the virtual Georgia on the iRacing service. Georgia on our mind. The iRacing Petit Le Mans coming up this weekend as well. We'll be in the cornfields of Iowa next week for the final of our first 3 rounds that see us being on the US side of the pond. We'll then head to Europe, Brands Hatch, to kick off a European swing. But let's talk a little bit about this facility. The Atlanta Motor Speedway, of course, notorious in recent months for a rather controversial layout change and track change that's going to take place. But this is a track that's seen Rallycross action back in 2013 and GRC competition. We're in a very different layout, one custom built for the iRacing service.
Yeah, we certainly are, and it's an intriguing mix here of the dirt and paved sections. That Joker lap that you see in yellow really cuts out one of the slowest corners on this track, and it has such an advantage, about 8 seconds of an advantage. So that is going to be one of the key things that we see out there today. But it's a challenging track, difficult to overtake on as well, so strategy will come into play.
64% asphalt, 36% dirt, just under a mile with 8 turns, and like Paul mentioned, anywhere from 8 to 8.5 seconds in terms of our Joker Delta. Before we get down to the serious business, like we said, the All-Stars are ready to have some fun. We saw a rather eclectic group of drivers last week, but this time lots of those names return, including some other drivers, the likes of Ryan Vargas, a NASCAR Xfinity driver. Blake Bilko Williams also returns to the iRacing service, a X-Game medalist. We'll be interested to see if next week, with Nitro Rallycross having completed its first doubleheader of action, we'll see the likes of Travis Pastrana, Scott Speed, and so many more return to the iRacing service. But 40 seconds to go in qualifying. Provisional pole, 45 seconds. To give the viewers a bit of an indication on what the World Championship drivers are going to be doing, Paul. Pole position 2 years ago, Sammy Matti-Trogan, a 43.891. 12 months ago, John Robertson, a 44.065. Despite the fact that these drivers are on a fixed setup, not as much practice as the World Championship competitors. Connor Martell looking good on provisional pole.
Certainly is, and Zach Campbell, of course, one of our Porsche Tagore Esport Super Cup drivers, also taking part in this once again. I do want to give a quick mention, all the best to Jamie Fluke, who's feeling a bit under the weather, which is why he's not joining us for the All-Stars this time out. But yeah, qualifying is done and dusted, and we're getting set for the first of those heats.
And so with about 16 drivers in the field, looking at 3 different heats, stack them up for 5 laps of action. 2 drivers will advance straight to our 10-lap inverted feature. Here's the Yokohama starting grid for heat number 1. Connor Martell had a bit of an interesting race last time. He'll be alongside Connor Barry. Parker Retzlaff, winner from the Sunshine State. What can he do from the inside of row 2 alongside Australian streamer Daniel Gray? Blake Bilko Williams in the 222 will line up at the tail end of this 5-car heat. 5 cars, 5 laps, 2 trips to our 10-lap feature on the cars. And Paul, you start on the gravel, on the tarmac here, so it's not as difficult as it was back in the Atlanta short configuration, but that run into the final couple of corners, oh so important.
It certainly is, and I have seen, by the way, Ryan Vargas just said in the sim, I'm scared. So that sets the stall very well for us all, but that run down to the first corner is key here.
Here we go. Rack 'em up, stack 'em up. Let's have some fun. The All-Stars are ready to race from the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway. Is that a jump start from Martell? We will wait and see. Away we go. Martell rockets off the line. Side by side, Daniel Gray will try and challenge Parker Retzlaff deep under the brakes. He forces Connor Barry wide. They'll be side by side coming through what is the final turn on the track. Side by side over the jump as well.
Yeah, of course, got to cross that finish line before you can then take the Joker at any point in this lap. So the driver's now free to use the Joker the first time around when they go past that. Oh, a big mistake there, and that's going to be costly out there for Retzlaff.
Drops to the tail end. Don't think anyone's committed to the Joker this time around. Oh, you can see Retzlaff has gone straight away trying to atone for his mistake. It is a place where we're going to see some interesting mergers when we get to, especially that World Championship competition. There you can see the cars coming through the tight left-hand sweeper. I think that's Connor Barry, excuse me, that's pulled to the side. Something's happened for the 028. Might be a slowdown penalty, but like I was saying, Paul, that merge off of the Joker, it's so high speed when you commit to that Joker lap compared to the relatively slower speeds of the cars coming through that tight left-hander. Always interesting. We've seen plenty of chaos 12 months ago.
Yeah, we certainly did, that's for sure. But right here, right now, certainly these drivers just getting a little bit spread out. Now, what are you going to do? When you're going to take the Joker? Well, Gray decides not yet, and neither does Bilko either, so those two going to be running close together. And look at it through that sweeping hairpin. Oh, clip the wall there. That's not going to help out your vehicle.
It's a very interesting track, and you want to carry your momentum all the way out of that left-hand sweeper, get yourself as close to the wall as possible, but very tough to get the car turned in, get the power down. Throttle modulation, the name of the game when it comes to that left-hand corner. Over the jump. comes Daniel Gray. Relatively short jump, but given the way that you land, can take some potential damage from that jump. So have to wait and see if we see any engines going boom in the course of either our All-Star Invitational or our World Championship race. Connor Barry has gone to the Joker. Bilko Williams goes this time around. Look at him, full of momentum, but Connor Martell in control right now, Paul. He's 4.5 seconds clear. I think he's taken to the Joker this time around.
Yeah, he's way out west now. He's certainly enjoying himself at the front of the field. And for those of you wondering, on the timing tower on the left-hand side, there you go. You see it light up next to Martell's name. That little symbol there means that he's taken to the Joker lap. And everybody, bar Daniel Gray, has taken to that Joker lap.
And so with it being about 7, 8, maybe 9 seconds, depending, especially for these All-Stars, it's going to be a bit harder to judge the Joker Delta than it is for our World Championship competitors, as Bilko Williams gets the rear out, opens the door for Connor Barry. There goes Daniel Gray up into third, bumping and barging. Can Bilko Williams hold on?
Oh, they're still side by side heading into those final 2 corners. This is where you can maybe get the cut back, but no. Bilko slams the door shut, and Barry just can't quite do it as they're about to start the final lap.
Almost cut the corner there as well, trying to sneak his nose down the inside. These 2 drivers then looking at those last chance qualifiers. See the timing tower update. All 5 of our competitors have taken to the Joker. Looks like Parker Retzlaff will get on through, only half a second in front of Daniel Gray as they come into the donk slide. Very tricky dirt hairpin where you can see from that wonderful camera shot just how close to the wall they get. Did Gray hit that wall? We heard the noise, and now a couple of half a second further back.
Yeah, he's dropped back. He's not looking at getting a position there, so it looks safe for Martell and Retzlaff.
The Vermont sports car of Connor Martell over the jump and across the line to win heat number 1. Parker Retzlaff will follow him through. The Arca Menard Series driver who won last week looks to build on that. We talked about some unofficial championship standings. We'll see how they look heading out of the Peach State. Here's a look then at your results from Heat 1. Blake Bilko Williams potentially getting dropped down the order there because it updated just as we took a look at these live Heat 1 results. Martell Retzlaff through, Daniel Gray, Connor Barry, Bilko Williams into the last chance qualifiers. Starting grid for heat number 2, the Porsche Tag Heuer Esport Super Cup driver for Zach Campbell will line up on pole position. He'll be alongside Arrow in that Traction GG car. Landon Huffman, Ron Capps in the always wonderful Napa Auto Parts Beetle will be row number 2. Justin Melillo completes the row. 2 of those Traction GG Subarus. Can they work together to bully their way to the front of the field? Always great to see some diversity as well. That Beetle always looks resplendent in those Napa colors.
Oh yeah, it's iconic really, is that Napa color, isn't it? It really is. It suits that Beetle so well as well. So yeah, 2 Traction GG cars together. Will they work together? I don't know, but they'll certainly want at least one of them to be getting automatically qualified.
So here we go. 5 more heat racing laps about to get underway. Engines begin to build. We are ready to go. Can see the car squat down, using that launch control to power them off the line. And away we go. Cabs has got a good launch, but not going to be good enough, I think, to challenge Arrow. Campbell uncontested into the first corner. Melillo has got it all sorts of wrong, hanging the rear out. Oh, and Arrow's made a mistake as well. Not a great start for the Traction GG cars.
Well, everything's happening. Oh, Zach Campbell doesn't make it over the jump cleanly either. Well, this is a bit of carnage, and Ron Capps finds himself challenging for the lead right now. This is brilliant.
Landon Huffman's already had a big issue, so he's not going to be completing these 5 laps. Straight to the consolation, into that very tight right-hander these cars will come. Campbell being chased down by Capps, who's a bit wide. Gets the power down nicely. I think Arrow's had an issue as well, so all sorts of calamities on the opening lap of heat number 2, but Campbell already 1.2 seconds clear. No one taking the Joker this time around.
No, but Justin Melillo has had an issue further back as well, so he's gone off. You got Ron Capps running wide. You got Zach Campbell, all sorts of out of control over the jump. Capps could win this heat here.
Only 0.6 of a second as Huffman's rejoined the track and in front of Melillo already. So whatever issue he had coming across the jump, Hasn't hurt him too much. Campbell gets the rear end loose. You can see the smoke building up. They're going to be side by side for a moment. Caps thought about the dive to the inside. Campbell looked very comfortable from Daytona, not so comfortable this time around. For those wondering, by the way, what the Joker lap is, it is a shortcut on most American rallycross tracks as Campbell gets off into the grass. About 7 or 8 seconds shorter when we come here to the Atlanta Motor Speedway. It was only a 2-second shortcut from Daytona, so a bit different the way that you'll think about the Joker and apply your Joker strategy, but Caps over the jump all over the rear end of that Subaru.
Oh, this is brilliant. Come on, Ron, you can do this. He took part in our All-Stars last year, and through he goes into the lead right now. This is a tremendous battle between him and Zach Campbell, and that Beetle, short wheelbase, real nippy car, and he's taken to the Joker.
And you could see there, that's where we talk about the difference between our All-Stars and World Championship competitors. Caps got on the brakes heading into the Joker lap, which just checked up his momentum into that shortcut. Did kind of scare Zach Campbell, I think, for a second, so both of them having to back out. The gap between Caps and Campbell is about 7.5 seconds. Aero has also taken to that shortcut this time around. There's the Traction GG car landing on that jump. And across the start-finish line, Melillo, more issues for him. Doesn't look like he's going anywhere right now. Does Campbell commit this time around? 2 laps to go. We'll have to wait and see. Wonderful move from Caps to get that move done though, Paul.
Oh, yeah, and that's it. He did it on track. It wasn't anything to do. There's the Joker taken by Zach Campbell, and he does get ahead of Caps. But right now, don't forget, it's the top 2 that get qualified automatically into the final. And, well, Campbell is pushing hard, a little too hard there.
So Campbell and Caps are comfortable. They're about 2.5 seconds.
Oh, no!
Oh no! Ron Caps around. Here comes Aero up into second.
Oh, you had to go and do it, didn't you? Give him the curse of the commentator. You say he's comfortable, and then he goes off.
Well, I was going to say they were comfortable. No need to fight it out because, of course, we invert the grid. So Caps. Oh! And now Zach Campbell's got things wrong. Lighting up the rear end of that car. Maybe locking up the rear tires using that handbrake. Aero now 1 second behind.
Well, we say that these drivers give us some entertainment on a Wednesday evening before the World Championship. This is very entertaining, and we don't know if Campbell's maybe got a slight problem or something because he's all over the place, or maybe he's just having a bit of fun there. Although that's cutting the last corner.
Yeah, does he have a slowdown? That's the question. Here comes that Traction GG car. Across the line, Campbell will take the win by the narrowest of... Oh, no, he slowed down. Aero's going to go through to the feature race. He'll start in the penultimate starting group, so he'll be back in 9th position. Zach Campbell then will line up in 7th. I wonder if there's some gamesmanship there. Zach Campbell knows there's an invert coming for that feature race, Paul. He mentioned that to me in the build-up. I wonder if maybe it's just some games being played there.
Oh, absolutely. He didn't want to win that race. I think that's part of the reason why he wanted Caps in front of him. But already, no stopping with the action here. On to the 3rd heat.
It is frenetic in rallycross action. GoPro Lopez will start on pole. Great to see the Team Fordzilla car back in action, representing Ford with that Fiesta. Craig's setup shop. Wonderful drive for Craig Williams to take home of being positioned last time out. He'll start on the outside of row 1. Luke Knupp, Quirketize row 2. Ryan Vargas joins us for All-Star Invitational action. He'll be the final car in our 5-car heat. 3 heats then in today's action, the final one of them about to get underway. All 3 manufacturers represented in this one. That is what makes these All-Star Invitationals so very fun. Wait for the lights, wait for the run into that double right-hander. Quirketize already leaning on the launch control. We are away for 5 more laps. Ryan Vargas doesn't get off the line, but the rest of the grid screaming down into that corner. Contact, up and over goes Craig Williams.
Oh, that Beetle just getting absolutely battered into the outfield there by GoPro Lopez, and that's just going to allow Luke Knupp into the lead of this one.
So Knupp is in the lead. GoPro Lopez got the elbows out, and that sent Craig Williams up and over. Don't think there's going to be too much animosity there as Knupp down onto the Joker straight away. He knows that clean air is going to be vital. Quirkitis follows GoPro Lopez around that tight right-hand hairpin. Ryan Vargas said he was scared. I think that maybe explains why he didn't pull away from the grid in conjunction with the rest of the field.
Yeah, I don't think he wanted that bad a start, though. That's what I don't think. Oh, Quirk just running a little bit wide there. And Tyson Mayer, well, he's having to get himself composed. And you can see how many of these All-Stars have really been struggling with that jump.
It's a technical track, not just the jump, but overall, even this first complex of corners to get that car turned in and carry as much speed as you can. You could see Quirk bouncing over the anti-cut curbs. Ryan Vargas has already, I think, said adios to the rest of this race and pulls himself down to pit road. Oh, no! Knupp gets it wrong. GoPro Lopez screams into first. Can Quirkitis capitalize on all of the chaos?
Well, that was a wall that Luke Knupp just found. And Quirk, well, he's looking behind now and thinking, oh, I want that automatic transfer position, thank you very much.
These races have been crazy, and if it's any sort of an indication of what our World Championship action is going to look like, well, going to be a bit more heated in the World Championship paddock come the close of that race. Quirk lights up the rear tires. That's definitely on the handbrake, and into the wall he goes. Don't really want to be using the handbrake too much in Rallycross action, as Craig's setup shop, I think, is already taken to the Joker. He's now gotten his way past Quirkitis as well. So GoPro Lopez and Luke Knupp, 1 and 2. Coming through the final couple of corners, it will be 2 laps to go. I mentioned that this is a track that's seen global rallycross competition in the past. When the rallycross cars came here in 2013, there were some rollovers, most notably from the man himself, Ken Block, king of Gymkhana, but it was in a Ford Fiesta, so not a Beetle. We'll have to wait and see if the Fiesta of GoPro Lopez goes flying over in that feature race, because it would just be fitting for real-life competition.
Yeah, like real life, like the sim, and yeah, GoPro Lopez currently in the lead. He's got that, I'm not going to say comfortable gap, because I'm not going to give him the commentator's curse like you did with Mr. Caps last time, but here we go into the final lap of this race, and if I'm Knupp, I'm happy sat there in second place right now.
Yeah, and again, we have to repeat it. We invert the grid for the feature, so GoPro Lopez would start, what, back in 8th position or something like that? Whereas Knupp would start in 5th, if I'm doing the math correctly, which never trust a commentator's math. We're always wrong when it comes to that sort of stuff, so we'll have to wait and see. Round they go. So 6 cars will have locked themselves into our 10-lap feature. We will see 4 more join them in our last chance qualifiers. What fun it's been so far. 10 more laps to decide the grid for the feature. GoPro Lopez slightly wide on that transition back onto the dirt, but over the jump, the Team Fordzilla machine will be in control. It's GoPro Lopez, it's Luke Knupp advancing to the feature. Craig setup shot after recovering from his rollover. Dramatic fashion for the man behind Craig's setup shop himself. Will finish in front of Quirkitis. Ryan Vargas completes then heat number 3, the final of our heats, as sideways both of those cars go. It's a Ford, it's a Subaru that advance. The 2 Beetles head then for 5 more laps of action to try and work their way into the feature. Quirkitis in that odd man out Subaru in the 3 cars not making it through. So here we go then, it's a 4-car last chance qualifier. 2 cars through, 2 cars going home. Daniel Gray, Craig setup shop will line up on the front row of the grid, because we are 2 by 2 here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway on our starting grid. Landon Huffman will be alongside Blake Bilko Williams. So just 4 cars, maybe a bit more contact in these next couple of races then, Paul.
There's got to be an element of desperation, isn't there, between these drivers now? They want to not have to sit out the feature race. They want to be in it to win it. And, well, we're just waiting for Craig Williams to get himself onto the grid. Of course, it's a little bit more intense for those drivers who have just raced to then have to come into this first last chance qualifier. So, yeah, just taking that little bit of time for Craig to get himself ready for this race. So
here we go. We saw a car flipping over last time on the start. Can Craig Williams get through the final couple of corners safely this time around? Away we go. Oh, look at the start from that second row. Williams will take control. Daniel Gray gets swarmed side by side into that final corner. They're three abreast, but there goes Huffman. There goes Blake Bilko Williams.
Oh, but you don't write him out yet, the Australian. He's fighting back here. And Daniel Gray trying to get that second place. Second place, of course, is crucial to get yourself into that feature race. And they're battling away between the three of them. That's just allowing Craig Williams to pull away at the front.
He won last time after going through the consolation races. As Daniel Gray says, thank you very much, I'll go to the Joker straight away. Works himself now onto the asphalt.
Did he just pick up a slow down penalty on the exit of that?
I did wonder, because you're right, he definitely did slow himself down. And now the gap to all three of these cars within that Joker Delta. So Daniel Gray in that Aquamarine 10 car, not necessarily in the best position. Over the jump they go. Look at the attitude of that Landon Huffman machine as he lands back on terra firma. Not exactly what you want. I mentioned the damage you can get. Can also get damage from those anti-cut curbs. Daniel Gray smacks them coming through the opening couple of corners.
He certainly does. So what's going to be the tactics of the rest of them? Well, Craig Williams says, I'm going to lead then, if that's the case. And that's exactly what he's done in that VW Beetle. And right now, he looks very composed and in control at the front there. But don't write out Huffman or Bilko yet.
Williams has Lewis Goodway on his roof, guiding him through these Rallycross races. No Rallycross experience coming into this All-Star Invitational. Got a taste of it last time from Daytona and really enjoyed it. Daniel Gray has had an issue. Not exactly sure what happened there. Oh no, timing screen's back to normal. Gray still sits in second, but only 2.5 seconds clear of Huffman. Bilko Williams 2.5 seconds further down the road. Looks like Bilko Williams really in some trouble if he wants to try and advance as Huffman takes to the Joker this time around. That 222 is going to need to pick up the pace. Shows some of that X Games potential that we've seen. X Game medalist multiple occasions as Bilko Williams, but not necessarily having the pace just yet. Obviously the first time we've seen him since the previous All-Star Invitationals that we ran earlier in 2021 back on the iRacing service.
Yeah, but great to have him out here today. Gotta say, it's great to see some of these names coming into this All-Stars event here. There's Huffman on the top, there's Williams on the bottom there. So they're the two that are currently going through to the feature race. And they just need to just drive within themselves slightly. I mean, Williams just running out over the edge of the track there. That will just cost him a little bit of time. But again, just looking a little bit more comfortable at the front this time.
Really do like this layout that we've got because it has so many different challenges. You've got slower, you've got the hairpin, for example, the donk slide. We'll get to that story later on in today's broadcast. You've also got the fast sweeping corners, especially that left-hand complex where you hug the wall as tightly as you can. So plenty of different challenges being thrown at the drivers, and with that becomes the opportunity for different approaches to tackle those challenges. And so that's something that I really do enjoy seeing. Williams through that donk slide, in control, 3 seconds clear. Bilko Williams will be taking to the Joker, but he's about 11 seconds back from Huffman, so too little too late, as there you go, the 222 up to third as he screams through the Joker. But it will be Craig setup shop, Craig Williams, that wins this first last chance qualifier. Makes his way into our 10-lap feature once more after getting a podium last time out. He'll be followed through by the Subaru of Landon Huffman, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series driver. Bilko Williams, Daniel Gray, done for the day. Always fun, these All-Star Invitationals. Not always fun to see drivers having to say goodbye, or in the case of Daniel Gray saying yeet very much there in the background. So here you go. Bilko Williams, Daniel Gray will be leaving us for now. We'll see them in the cornfields of Iowa in 7 days' time. 5 cars ready to go then in the second last chance qualifier. Ron Capps, hoping no commentator's curse to strike him down this time around. He'll be alongside Connor Barry in the 028, Corkatize and Justin Melillo in the 053, row number 2. Hopefully Ryan Vargas has learned how launch control works this time. Hopefully not too scared of what lies ahead. 5 more laps, and this one should be fun, Paul.
Yeah, one more car on the track as well. There's people getting wished good luck, and well, we're getting set for this one. This should be a good race, and do you know what, secretly, I know we're meant to be unbiased here. I want Ron Capps to make it into the feature race.
There's only so much unbiased comments we can have, especially when you want to be competing in one of these races, Paul. We'll get to that maybe later on in the season. Commentating and driving will be a very fun experience, I'm sure. Engines rev, we are away. Vargas indeed did figure it out this time around, but Capps uncontested. Side by side, Corkatize and Barry. Barry locks up the inside front, goes deep. Vargas from 5th to 3rd forces Barry off the track.
Oh, that's a big, big moment there for Barry, and that's dropped him all the way to the back there. It's going to take a lot for him to get up there again. Quirk, he's dropped back just that little bit, and that's allowed Ryan Vargas actually up into 2nd place. The 2 Beetles currently in 1st and 2nd.
Vargas from the tail end didn't even pull away from the grid last time around, dives to the Joker this time around, inherits the race lead. Corkatize following Melillo around, as Connor Barry took to the Joker as well, chasing down that red Beetle in front. So Ron Capps has some work to do, but 7 seconds behind Ryan Vargas, your new race leader, still in a good position. There comes the Napa Auto Parts Beetle, a little bit wide through the second part of the corner. You can see there's already a groove being dug into that dirt, and track resets not necessarily as important in this All-Star Invitational as it is for our World Championship race, but not necessarily what the Beetle wants to see is that track getting reset and favoring the Subarus, which are slightly better on the fresher track as compared to the worn states that the Ford and the Beetle prefer. There goes Vargas, now only 1 second in front of Barry. Capps has managed to close the gap by about 1.2 seconds, so he's in control. Melillo and Corkatize having a fun battle of their own.
Yeah, they're busy battling away. I think Quirk's actually got a slight problem. He might have got some damage. Look at this. Barry and Vargas across the jump there. Don't squeeze each other. And yes, Barry to the lead.
And as you can see on the bottom right corner of the screen, gap to Capps, only 5 seconds. Vargas up and over. We saw Bonfante Jr. do the very same thing 12 months ago. Things end in disaster. The turtle curbs have claimed a victim. Ryan Vargas was looking in position to potentially advance. Ron Capps to the Joker this time around inherits the net race lead.
Oh, that's hard. Yeah, I'm going to say that's heartbreak for Vargas there. He did manage to land onto his wheels, though, eventually, and has got, well, I would have said he got back going, but he's looks like he's parked it.
So 10 out of 10 on the landing at the very least, even maybe not the flip itself, Paul.
Yeah, and the thing is, those anti-cut curbs, they're there for a reason, and if you hit them wrong, which is an extreme way of seeing that what we just saw, but it shows you, don't cut those corners.
Landon Huffman and Ryan Vargas having some fun in the in-session chat. Of course, 2 drivers in the NASCAR paddock, somewhat familiar with one another. Aero HD also jumping in saying, I mean, if you can't win, do a cool flip. That's peak gaming right there, the comment from the Traction GG streamer. So it'll be 1 lap to go this time around. Ron Capps 1.5 seconds clear of Connor Barry. I'm going to be very careful what I say, Paul, because I would love to see that car in the final this time around.
I do like Barry's paint, though. I do like that as well. It does suit that Subaru very well. But we're on to this final lap then, and these 2 at the front, they just need to I hate to say it again, they just need to take it easy, not take any risks. Although saying that, Quirk, he's not that far back. He has taken the Joker, though. So, yeah, these 2, they're pretty much set. Don't fight each other. You're going to make it into the final.
A little bit wide coming through the sweeper. Almost into the grass for Connor Barry, but it's too little, too late. Ron Capps should take the second last chance qualifier to the checkered flag, but Connor Barry will advance with him. We started with 16. We are down to just the final 10. Caps across the line wins here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. So Justin Melillo, Quirketize, and Ryan Vargas say goodbye to us for now. And hopefully we see all three of them from the Iowa Speedway, the fastest short track in the world when it comes to oval racing. See how fast we can go there in these wonderful supercars on the iRacing service. Well, that is what Rallycross is all about. Fast and furious. Heat and last chance qualifiers are done. Just one more things for our All-Stars to do. That is 10 laps of action in our inverted feature race. That'll be next, here live on the iRacing Esports Network.
Take your driving. Take your driving to the next level at Dirtfish. Gain confidence behind the wheel of an all-wheel drive Subaru STI or rear-wheel drive BRZ. Get sideways with skills on gravel, mud, and tarmac. Dirtfish offers programs for every driver. Visit dirtfish.com for details.
Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network for coverage of round 2 in the iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama. There's one thing that separates first place from the rest of the pack, the finish line. High-performance, race-inspired Yokohama Advan tires give you the drive to win. Discover Advan at yokohamatire.com. 10 laps left for our All-Stars to have some fun, but they are having to come to grips with the tricky Atlanta Motor Speedway. My name is Arjuna Kankipati, alongside is Paul Smith in the commentary booth, Tyler Maxson on production, controlling all the action. And Paul, I mean, this is really one of the most technical challenges across of IRX competition here on iRacing, and we saw rollovers, we saw mistakes, we had it all, but we still got 10 laps to go for these All-Stars to have some fun.
Yeah, they're the ones that made it through to this feature race, and they're going to have a lot of fun and a big challenge with 10 cars on the grid here. So it's going to be interesting to see how those drivers deal with the inverted grid as well, because that is one of the challenges that we don't see in the World Championship Series. But here with the All-Stars, it's all about having fun, and my goodness, that'll be exactly what we see here today.
And it's a busy week on the iRacing schedule from Georgia. Georgia very much on everyone's mind. Here for World Championship competition in the Rallycross cars. But this weekend, Paul, everyone on the iRacing service can take part in the iRacing 2021 Petit Le Mans powered by VCO. Road Atlanta is one of my favorite tracks across of the iRacing service. Multi-class action, a very different challenge, of course, the slinging virtual dirt, but it's something that everyone can take part in. RaceSpot will have coverage in partnership with Radio Show Limited as well. Always fun to head to Brazelton, Georgia for what is 10 hours of action.
I'll tell you now, in 2019 I commentated the first 5 hours of that particular edition of the Petit Le Mans, and that was the most hectic, exciting, thrilling commentary that I have ever done in my life. It was just action all the time. It was wonderful to watch and to get to call, and well, we get to see it again this year. It's all come around a bit too quick for my liking.
And the reason that I brought that up, especially now, Paul, is we're watching All-Stars, right? We're seeing the likes of Connor Martel, Luke Knapp, all of these real-world drivers. You know who the defending Petit Le Mans winner is on the iRacing service?
You're going to tell me anyway, so who is it?
It's a certain Max Verstappen. Yes, that Max Verstappen, and I really don't know. Obviously, Formula One has an off week this coming weekend. We might see him back in action with Team Redline looking to defend his throne.
I don't know who that is. Must be somebody new.
I'm sure he's got a long career ahead of him here on the iRacing service, that's for sure.
No, he's a talent. He can, you know, give him something with an engine and wheels, even if it's simulated, and he can drive it fast. That's the nature of the kid. He's a young lad compared to me, yeah, he certainly can pedal a car.
Can pedal it, whether it be a Formula One car or whether it be one of these supercars that we'll see in action right now. 10 laps, it's an inverted grid, but we are ready for round 2 in the iRacing All-Star Invitational presented by Yokohama. It will be Connor Barry, Landon Huffman on the front row of the grid, Ron Capps and Craig setup shop on row 2. An old Beetle affair on that second row. Luke Knupp, Zach Campbell, 5th and 6th positions. Knupp, one of the youngest drivers in the field, also one of the most credentialed in real-world competition. Parker Retzlaff, GoPro Lopez on row 4, while Aero and Connor Martel, winners in their respective heats, have to start all the way at the tail end of the field. We saw Jamie Fluke and Zach Campbell at the tail end of our field last time out. Didn't go that well for them, Paul. Let's see how things go here from the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Yeah, it could be carnage, it could be chaos into those final 2 corners at the start. Certainly one that we'll be looking out for. When do you take the Joker as well? That's going to be crucial.
Timing that Joker, getting the run also in towards what is turn number 1 on the start, but the final couple of corners on the lap is going to be crucial. Rack them up, stack them up, and let's let them rip for 10 laps of action here in the iRacing All-Star Invitational. Away we go. Ron Capps with a monster launch down the inside. Connor Barry gets muscled out, but he gets the elbows back out and spins Ron Capps. Craig Williams goes sideways. Zach Campbell managed to hold on to it, but Landon Huffman, Luke Knupp, 1 and 2, sideways, side by side over the jump.
Oh, that was bowling shoe ugly, was that for Ron Capps, and he'll be absolutely spitting feathers over that one. But still, the majority of the field going. Oh, Martel's around. Did he find the front of GoPro Lopez's car? Well, we have to see. And I think Zach Campbell late on the call to go down onto the Joker.
I think the elbows got out there as well, and so he decided, I'm just going to get away from this one, as there goes Martel also onto the Joker. So 4 cars electing to take that 8-second shortcut the first time around. GoPro Lopez into the grass, opens the door for Connor Barry, who will sling it down the inside. Lopez a bit wide on the entry to the cornerback, gives him the cutback as we come across the jump. Oh, he's not looking comfortable. There's more contact between the two of them. Lopez shuts the door all the way to the inside, on board with Connor Barry. Nowhere to go. He has to settle for now.
Yeah, this is a contact sport. Forget about the normal motorsport rules of, oh, he touched me. Yeah, that's what normally happens in Rallycross, and that's interesting. Both of them going the same time through the Joker. Wow, look at that merge.
I think Craig Williams got a bit scared there because he had a bobble and now lost the position to Connor Barry as well. Zach Campbell then in second, able to hold on to his place despite taking the Joker. Now we'll have to wait and see where Landon Huffman is in comparison to your leader across the line. Lopez and Barry resume the hostilities. Luke Knupp is about 8 seconds clear. Oh, that's going to cause a unsafe rejoin potentially. Craig Williams still on the back of all of this. They are, you said Rallycross is a contact sport, but these guys are taking it to the next level. As down the inside, Craig Williams slides it through the donk slide.
This is almost like something you'd see in the octagon. It really is. It's all just battering each other out there, and they're not even fighting for the lead here. This is over the mid-pack spots at the moment. Barry to the inside of Craig Williams. Oh, he's all locked up, and he's gone straight on. And Zach Campbell now under pressure from Huffman.
Oh, Huffman took to the Joker last time around. Campbell's having none of it, though. Down the inside, hometown boy into second place. But Luke Knupp, 1.5 seconds clear. Plenty of work for Campbell to do. Oh no, Huffman's got it wrong over the anti-cut curves, goes flying off into the grass. My oh my, we said the All-Stars are some of the most fun you can have here in terms of Rallycross competition that you can watch on the iRacing Esports Network. They're proving that once more here, Paul.
I don't know whether I'd want to actually be out there. They're ultra competitive, aren't they? They're not afraid to get the shoulders out, and here we go. Here's what happened to Huffman then. So just gets his line wrong through here. Oh, Campbell, he followed Campbell, but he was a little bit wider, and that's what cost him.
Air miles accumulated for Landon Huffman. That's all I can say. We're not too far away from one of the busiest airports in the world. Hartsfield-Jackson nestled in the heart of Atlanta City. But here we go then. Every car other than Ron Capps is taken to the Joker. Capps is 20 seconds behind your leader, so not going to be a concern for the race lead. That's Connor Martell with Aero in that Traction GG car right behind him. This is through the tight left-hand sweep, though. Under attack from Parker Retzlaff, Connor Barry, as they both get themselves wide. Retzlaff, of course, winner 7 days ago from the Daytona International Speedway. Trying to now get a top 5 finish. And gap out front has come down, by the way, Paul. Zach Campbell, only 7 tenths behind Luke Knapp.
Yeah, Campbell, he can, again, he's somebody who can really just take to any car and go for it. And you can see that battle for the lead then on the bottom of your screen. And Campbell, second place, putting the pressure on. It's easier to chase than to be chased, because you've got that target right in front of you, and he's getting closer all the way through, out the donk slide, through this left-hander. And Campbell, he's got the bit between his teeth. He played the game in that heat that he ended up finishing second in, but right now he's going for number 1.
Oh, and top of your screen, Parker Retzlaff says, I'm not having this anymore. Down the inside, Retzlaff rips 5th position away from Connor Barry. That was physical. It's going to get physical, I think, for the race lead. It is 4 laps to go then. Campbell almost uses the bumper to force Knapp wide. Side by side on the entry in towards the donk slide. That's never going to work out there. Gives a bit of breathing room to Knapp. He's got now what will be 3.5 miles left to hold off the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup driver.
Now these two have got to be careful and not to trip over each other and slow each other down, because GoPro Lopez is not that far behind. He's about 2 3/4 seconds behind, so don't write him out of this one yet, especially if these two start rubbing door handles once again.
Over the jump. Here we go. 3 laps left on the board. These cars about 3 seconds clear of GoPro Lopez. Not really too much fighting going on right now. Into the donk slide once more. Both Subarus out front. Campbell, look how close he gets this time around. He was playing the game in the heat races, but he has turned up the pressure to maximum attack. Gets a bit of a bump there. Might actually give him a quite nice run down out of that left-hand sweeper onto the tarmac once more. And into the final couple of corners. Here we go. I think Knapp's looking pretty comfortable now. Campbell's going to have to throw everything and the kitchen sink at the driver in front, as I think Connor Barry's had an issue. You can see left side of the screen, the 028 slides down to 8th position.
Yeah, you can see how Knapp takes a different line through those final 2 corners, really swings the back end out there to try and get it nice and straight out that final corner, so he gets a nice straight entry into the jump. And Campbell, time's running out for him. He had contact, he made a little bit of contact on the exit of the donk slide there, and that's what unsettled his car. Lost him some time. He's got it all on, and with just about 1.25 laps to go.
Oh, into the grass he goes. Not always the worst thing, because it can grip you up and send you down into that final couple of corners. Braking at 190 kph. They get it slowed down. 1 mile left to go. Luke Knapp in control, but never say never. Zach Campbell, a Georgia boy of his own, wants to try and take victory. 0.6 of a second the gap. Oh no, Campbell launches it over the anti-cut curves. That might give him a slowdown. We'll have to wait and see. Gap still 0.8 of a second.
Oh, this is tremendous to watch, but I think Campbell's running out of time. Needs a good run through this left-hander. Hope that Knapp makes a mistake, but Knapp's building looking so good at the front of this field.
Knapp has plenty of real-world experience, plenty of iRacing experience as well. The winner of 2 Jim Beaver short course truck races in the Super World Cup that those guys have been putting on. It's going to be close, but it's not going to be close enough. The teenager Luke Knapp wins round 2 of the iRacing All-Star Invitational. Zach Campbell across the line in second. And there he goes, flying through the grass. It's all just a bit of fun. And like we said earlier, Paul, sometimes these guys put on a better show than the World Championship drivers do. But when we get to that in just a couple of minutes.
Yeah, this is always entertainment, and that's what you want to see from these drivers. But a tremendous performance from the front two to give us that really close action.
So strike one went to Parker Retzlaff. Strike two goes to Luke Knupp. Zach Campbell then in second. GoPro Lopez, Craig Setup Shop, and Connor Martell to round out the top five. Aero, Parker Retzlaff, Ron Capps, Landon Huffman through ninth. Connor Barry, the issues mounted up. He finishes then down in 10th position. Very significant damage to the front end of his 028 Subaru. Finishes 32 seconds off the pace. So that is round two in the books. All-Stars always do put on a show for us here, Paul. And my, oh my, I mean, Atlanta, we were saying it can be hard to pass, but I think we saw a pass at every single corner on the track here in the last hour of action. I hope the World Championship drivers are watching and taking notes.
Yeah, that was, okay, World Championship boys, you think you're good? Well, try that. Try beat that, because that was absolutely sensational. Loved every minute of that, and I cannot wait to see what our World Championship drivers can do.
And speaking of those World Championship drivers, they are getting ready to go. We'll be watching them in about 15 minutes time take to the track for qualifying. They'll go through their own set of heat races, last chance qualifiers, and the feature race itself as well. We'll hopefully get some interviews here in the coming couple of minutes on the iRacing Esports Network with some of our All-Stars. Had some entertaining interviews last time, to say the very least. Craig Williams finished on the podium, then popped out straight away to go pick up his wife from some medical appointments. So got to speak to him from inside his car. Not the virtual one, but the real one. But anyway, let's take a quick break here on the iRacing Esports Network. We'll have more post-race coverage from the All-Stars coming up after this. Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network and coverage of the 2021 iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama. There's one thing that separates first place from the rest of the pack: the finish line. High-performance, race-inspired Yokohama Advan tires give you the drive to win. Discover Advan at yokohamatire.com. My name is Arjuna Kankipati, alongside is Paul Smith, with Tyler Maxon in the production truck controlling all of the action. The All-Stars are done. We now will look ahead to the World Championship drivers, but before we do that, have some interviews to get to. And we'll start with the winner here in round two from the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's Luke Knupp, and Paul Smith is standing by.
Luke, I mean, that looked like a barrel of laughs. It looked like you were having so much fun out there. How was that battling Zach out there today? Luke, have we got a copy with you?
So might be some technical issues. We'll try and dial up Luke Knupp on the line in just a few moments' time. Let's talk to Zach Campbell then, the Georgia native who is standing by with us right now. And Zach, well, you're here to have some fun. Had a bit of physical fun last time out in round one from the Daytona International Speedway, but this time around, second place finish. It did look like a lot of fun for you there, battling with Knupp across the line.
Yeah, honestly, the race was just really, really fun overall with Luke there. I really enjoyed it. The invert's a little bit strange, makes things a little hard, but being able to get up with Luke and kind of brawl there for those last few laps was really, really fun. I know I was definitely not as consistent as he was, so he was definitely able to have a little bit of an edge on me there.
And talk to us about your gamesmanship then in the heats, because I think we can call it that. It didn't look like you necessarily wanted to win that first heat that you were part of. Sideways plenty, I'm sure yoinking on that handbrake as well.
I don't know what you're talking about, actually. We left the windshield wiper motor on, and it robbed power down the last straightaway. I don't really know. It was a little down on power. We took her in during the warm up. The crew put a brand new motor in it. It was putting up good numbers on the dyno. We put her in, and she was flying for the feature. So yeah, just a little bit of engine problems there in the heat race.
Talk to us about your new career step, as it were, here in sim racing. You were obviously part of the Apex racing team for going on about 2.5 years, but now part of Coanda Simsport. These have been your two official races as part of the purple and orange so far. Of course, when World Championship competition commences for you next year, you'll be competing with them in the Porsche Tagcore Esports Super Cup. But just having some fun here on the iRacing service. What's it looking like for the rest of the year now joined up with the Coanda guys?
We'll figure out. It was a little weird switching mid-year. So really, I'm just doing things kind of as we come to it. This was something that came up that was a good opportunity just to kind of get out there. And so being able to come into such an organization, it's really good, but it's also something where we always got just prior commitments and things. That people already signed up for and everything. So hopefully we're just taking the opportunities we come to them. We ran Assetto Corsa a couple weeks back. We ran a little bit of R Factor 2, doing a little bit of spotting here and there, just trying to help out the guys. So it's fun, but I think our next big deal is Porsche Tagcore Esports Super Cup here coming up in January.
You're obviously watching the Contender Series as well and watching who's going to be competing with you. Thanks for joining us, Zach, and hopefully we'll see you in the cornfields of Iowa next time around.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for interviewing me and letting me figure out which track it is before 2 hours before the race this time. Glad that I can learn that information, and yeah, really happy to compete next week too.
So there was Georgia's Zach Campbell, and I do believe we have Luke Knupp standing by. Paul, take it away.
Yeah, have we got a copy with you, Luke?
Yeah, I'm here.
I thought you were going to troll me and just not say anything at all, but congratulations on the win there. As I said to you earlier, that looked to be a really thrilling race for yourself and for Zach out there. Just talk us through that. That was tremendous to watch.
Yeah, last week didn't go very well, so I put in a little bit more work for this week, and testing went good. So knew I had to get a good heat result, and I ended up getting second, and then just had to get a good start in the heat or the feature race, and did that, getting right to the lead, and then took the Joker first lap to get more clean air, and then saw everyone else took it, and I was out front still. So it was kind of just laying consistent laps, put my head down, and we had a good battle there with Zach, and overall it was a really fun race.
And how important was it that Joker lap taking it straight away for you?
Overall, it was really important. I already had a little bit of a cushion, like half a tenth, half a second, but wanted to get a little bit more of a cushion and then try to get a good out lap after that, and did just that, and got in front of Zach by a little bit over a second, I think, and then just tried to pull away from there.
And just finally, you look to be having so much fun on the dirt. Is it something that you've just been finding a real challenge out there?
Not really, actually. My background is competing in the off-road world, short course trucks, and then through the desert. So it's kind of my natural zone, and that's why I think I perform a little bit better in it.
Well, all the best for next week. Thanks for joining us for a chat there. Your race winner, Luke Knupp.
And that will conclude our post-race interviews for the iRacing All-Star Invitational in Round 2. Don't go anywhere. World Championship action right around the corner on the iRacing Esports Network.
Today's new cars have upwards of 100 computers in them and a dashboard rivaled only by a commercial airliner. But wouldn't it be nice to really know what all that does for you?
At Roadshow, we demystify the world of modern transportation with reviews of your next car, the latest news on what's changing the industry, and videos covering every screen and every new feature you'll encounter in the driver's seat.
Get informed, get smart, and get going with Roadshow.
Take your driving to the next level at Dirtfish. Gain confidence behind the wheel of an all-wheel drive Subaru STI or rear-wheel drive BRZ. Get sideways with skills on gravel, mud, and tarmac. Dirtfish offers programs for every driver. Visit dirtfish.com for details.
This is iRacing, the world's premier online racing game. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat to experience today's newest form of competitive motorsport, virtual racing, all from your home PC. Race virtually in indoor series from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, Aussie Supercars and more. Take on legendary circuits like Daytona, Silverstone and the Nürburgring. Join iRacing's global online racing community and get on track today at iRacing.com.
In 2018, Nitro Rallycross took the racing world by storm with the biggest jumps, the best drivers, and the most intense action ever. In 2021, Nitro Rallycross is expanding with 5 epic races. From the mountains to the Great Lakes, the desert, and the Sunshine State, Nitro Rallycross is coming to a racetrack near you. Nitro Rallycross, the series, revving up and taking off this September.
The fun has stopped. The championship now takes center stage. Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network for coverage of the 2021 iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama. There's one thing that separates first place from the rest of the pack: the finish line. High-performance, race-inspired Yokohama Advan tires give you the drive to win. Discover Advan at yokohamatire.com. My name is Arjuna Kankipati, alongside is Paul Smith. And Paul, the championship gauntlet was laid down 7 days ago. Set Esports with a 1-2 finish. Tommy Holman, Joni Olakainen, the class of the field from the World Center of Racing. But here in Atlanta, we know the Subaru Motorsports duo, Johan Hoff, John Robertson, always quick. Let's see what happens here over the next hour.
Yeah, Robertson, of course, won here last year, so he's got winning experience around this track. So he'll be feeling confident coming into this one, but the form book is just that. It's a book. It's all about what you do today out there on track, and the Set Esports drivers have set themselves a really good pace early on here.
Can never look backwards, especially in rallycross competition, because things are ever changing. And now in this unique schedule, for the first time in 4 seasons of IRX Championship history, 9 unique venues. There is nowhere to hide, no prior experience to fall back on when we visit the likes of Brands Hatch, Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, or our season finale, the Charlotte Motor Speedway. But let's talk a little bit about Atlanta. It's seen rallycross action back in 2013. Very different layout in the real world. They use basically the pitch straight and the tri-oval, quad-oval, whatever you will call it. Here we use a purpose-built layout on the iRacing service, 8 turns. It is 64% asphalt, 36% dirt, just under 1 mile for its 8 corners, and we saw it in that last All-Star Invitational poll. Starts are going to be crucial here today.
Yeah, that is one of the main things, is how you get that launch from the start. Of course, the Joker lap as well, with it being so strong here, that cut through, so it gives you about 8.5 seconds of advantage there. When you time to do that, whether you go on the first lap or partway through, if you get stuck up behind somebody, take that Joker trying to jump them, it is crucial to how you perform out there in today's race.
So qualifying underway, we saw Joni Olakainen take the pole last time. That Yokohama pole award was his 2nd pole position of his career. Let's see how things change this time around. You can take a look at your championship standings, and it's always fun to try and pick apart points in Rallycross, Paul, because you get points from qualifying, you get points in the heat races, you get points in the feature. So despite the fact that our defending champion Johan Harth finished 4th in our feature last time around, he's behind Vicente Salas, who finished behind him in that feature, but accumulated more points. Consistency wins championships, especially in Rallycross.
Absolutely, but one little mistake can cost you so much as well. And you can see that red number as well. That's the relegation. Top 10 automatically qualify. Kevin Ellis Jr., the first one of those who is outside of that qualification process, but there's a long way to go in this championship.
And you'll also notice the red number for Tommy Holman. That will denote our championship leader at every single round over the next 8 weeks here on the iRacing Esports Network. And of course, like Paul mentions, 10 drivers will lock themselves into the 2022 Rallycross World Championship. So just under 2.5 minutes left on the board. Let's take a look on board with the defending winner from this track, John Robertson. Look at how he uses the curbs through the first couple of corners. All asphalt to start things off with. So keep it smooth, keep it tight, and work your way into the donk slide. Look how much you'll cut here, because you want to get your car rotated as early as possible so you can roll yourself onto the power and keep your momentum through this very tight left-hander. Robertson all the way to the wall as well, trying to stay in that groove, and kicks himself out to the right-hand side, back onto the asphalt. Braking at 190 kilometers an hour. This is a corner where you'll see multiple approaches. Robertson uses the gravel to get himself turned in, doesn't cut too much of the grass that you've seen on occasion. Then a very tricky jump, not because it's fast, not because it's long, but because nailing the landing can be crucial. Robertson, provisional pole, and goes slightly faster this time around. It's a 44.064.
Tremendous lap there from Robertson. Absolutely wonderful. He'll be feeling so confident about going into these races here today. As we say, if you could start on the front row in the heat, get yourself into those last 2 turns first, that's so crucial to how you get on in the rest of the races.
And look at who is second, the youngest driver on the grid. Jarno Leskinen, just 13 years of age, had let's say a calamitous debut in that feature last time around. Contact with the defending champion Johan Harth coming to the jump on lap number 1. Looks to start off then this round from Atlanta in the best way possible. Not too many cars still out there on track. I think the only car that's currently looking like it might go and have another lap is Johan Harth. Let's talk then about our predictions, Paul, because, well, we talked about form books. Neither of us got it right last time around. Who are you picking this time from Hampton, Georgia?
Well, I think Joni Ollikainen will be a little bit disappointed in not getting the win last time out, and he'll want to step it up a gear here today against his teammate and the rest of the field. So I'm going Joni.
And I've gone for John Robertson, winner 12 months ago. And talking of form books, I managed to pick the drivers that have got our Yokohama Pole Award 2 times in a row. I think Robertson will be hoping that he can have a bit more luck than Joni Ollikainen did last time in our feature. Let's get ready then for 4 heat races to decide round 2 of the iRacing Rallycross World Championship. It is time to take a look at our Yokohama starting grid and give out our Yokohama Pole Award to John Robertson. It's an all-Subaru front row, though, in this Heat 1. Johan Harth, the defending champion, lines up alongside his teammate. Can Subaru lock down Heat number 1? Luis Nunez got into the wars last time from Daytona, but he'll be alongside Kilian Delhomme for the set team GRX. Quintin Delhomme makes it a Delhomme family affair in Heat 1, with Matt Busa fresh off his eNASCAR 5th place finish yesterday, trying to now bounce back after not making it to that final 4 in the championship. Tommi Nukarainen will complete our 7-car grid for Loneborough Motorsports. We are ready to go from the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway. 28 cars will take to the grids over the next 4 heat races. We will whittle it down to the fastest 10 of them and get ready for those final 10 laps of action in our feature race. Away we go from Atlanta, and Johan Harth has got the jump on his teammate. It's Subaru 1 and 2. Harth will go into the lead. Robertson gives him just enough space. Kilian Delhomme has his brother for company, Quintin Delhomme, right behind him. Across the jump we go. Luis Nunez side by side with Matt Busa.
Oh, this is a tremendous start from that Subaru USA team, and they'll be happy with finding themselves there at the front then. But Johan getting the jump then on John, not the best run. And Johan, look at how late he was turning onto that Joker. John Robertson nearly made contact. Well, there is contact there, and that was Killian Delormeau.
Little contact between Delormeau and Robertson, but bumping is racing here in the iRacing Rallycross World Championship. That's one of the tricky things about the Joker, is getting onto the Joker. We'll see what it looks like on Joker merge potentially, because now some clean air for John Robertson. He's only about 1.3 seconds behind Tommi Nukarainen, so 3 cars took to the Joker. Johan Harth, Quintin Delormeau, Tommi Nukarainen. John Robertson then in 4th. Will he commit this time around? Because you don't necessarily want to get stacked up behind the rest of your competitors. There is a lone bro car for Nukarainen. Robertson just behind now, 1.3 seconds. Doesn't commit this time around. Neither does Killian Delormeau. Neither does Luis Nunez. So no one taking the shortcut this time around. And for those new to Rallycross action, Paul, on most American Rallycross tracks, the Joker is a shortcut. In Daytona, it was a 2-second shortcut. Here, it's about an 8.5-second shortcut. When we go to Europe, then it is a longer version of the track. Drivers have to take the Joker once during each race, and so Joker strategy is always crucial, no matter where we are.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it's how you play that. And normally you've got somebody working with you, acting as a spotter, saying, right, okay, you've like right now, John Robertson is probably getting told to take it because he caught right up to the Nukarainen, and that's exactly what I did. How's he going to come out? Well, he's going to come out in 2nd place, right behind his teammate.
Rule number 1 in racing, don't hit your teammate. So I don't think we're going to see Robertson and Johan Harth coming to blows, but already Robertson only 3/10, I should say, behind his teammate. On board will look with the British driver, racing across rooms from his brother. So when we see Jake Robertson in action for the Rahal Lederman Lanigan team, can probably see the wall separating him and his brother. Wonder what the post-race debriefs are like between the two of them, especially if they come to contact. But through into the donk slide they will go. One more lap after this one. Harth and Robertson looking comfortable. Killian Delormeau is 10 seconds adrift from the leader, so a bit too far behind to sneak then past them on the Joker.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not quite going to work out for Killian. So those two teammates, they'll be working together. And as you say, they don't want to make contact with each other. They want to give themselves the best opportunity here. So I don't see John really making an attack on Johan on the final lap. They'll just want to make sure they get to the end.
I'm sure Parker Kligerman is quite happy to see his Kligerman Sport e-racer car out there on track without too much damage. Not the easiest of debuts for Quintin Delormeau last time from Daytona. Now into the donk slide he works. Might be side by side between him and his brother. Oh, that's also interesting. So many family ties in this World Championship. I'll keep an eye on them, but out front, as Killian Delormeau does take to that Joker, he's going to be just a little bit too far behind. Luis Nunez has managed to squeak on past Quintin Delormeau. That's all for grid position in our last chance qualifiers, but out front, it's the blue and gold. It's Subaru Motorsports USA, the defending Rallycross World Championship, wins heat number 1, followed by John Robertson. Johan Harth, John Robertson through. The rest of the field ready to go racing for the last chance qualifiers. So, as we take a look then at our results, Subaru 1 and 2, set Team GRX in 3rd, Killian Delormeau about 2 seconds behind your race winner, Luis Nunez, Quintin Delormeau, Matt Busa, Tommi Nukarainen. Get ready to go for 5 more laps to lock themselves into the feature. Jarno Leskinen, the youngest driver on the grid, will start on the pole of heat number 2. He's alongside our pole position winner from last night in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, Vicente Salas. Josh Fox makes it 2 Anson Williams esports cars in this heat 2, while the king of the dirt, Alex Bergeron, is on the outside of row 2. Luke Krause, Jacob Rafoss, 5th and 6th on the grid. Thomas Wangen for the Team Yokohama car will line up at the tail end of our 7-car heat. 2 very young drivers, Jarno Leskinen 13, Jacob Rafoss 14. They have the likes of series veteran Josh Fox, competed in every single iRacing Rallycross World Championship season going back to 2018. Finished 3rd in that inaugural campaign, looking to reclaim a spot at the top end of this World Championship. You can see puff of smoke as the cars rev themselves up. Away we go. Alex Bergeron has got a good launch, 4 abreast as we dive down into the first corner. Williams Esports side by side, some contact between Fox and Leskinen. Both of them get taken out because Alex Bergeron comes shoving his way on past, but into the race lead, Thomas Wangen from 7th to 1st.
I don't know about that because Salas is up there as well. In fact, Vicente does end up at the front of the field. My goodness, what a dramatic start to this race. And Josh Fox, well, he has nothing but bad luck, it seems, in this series. And Salas is going straight to the Joker lap as well as Rafos as well. So interesting early point to this race. Those leaders just getting out there and trying to get that Joker done and dusted.
And you can see Wangen hanging the rear end out. Alex Bergeron on board will look with the Jim Beaver Esports car down in towards the final couple of corners. Salas, Refos, and Leskinen all took to the Joker last time around. We'll have to wait and see how things play out because you can see Leskinen attacking Refos. 2 very young drivers, a bit of contact there potentially, but Leskinen will try and squeeze on through on the entry to the dong slide. Leskinen will hang the rear end out, opens the door for the Vermont sports car driver of Jacob Rafos. These guys are putting on a show. They may be the future of the World Championship, but they're trying to prove they're the current right now. But Bergeron through the Joker up to 2nd.
Yeah, Alex Bergeron showing exactly what he means, and that is business out there. He was ultra aggressive off the start, was Bergeron. He wasn't taking any prisoners, and the rest are really fighting over scraps right now in that final transition spot. Is Bergeron, well, what can Kraus do? He is behind. He's yet to take the Joker lap. He's only about 8.5 seconds behind Bergeron, so don't write out Kraus yet.
This is where timing the Joker comes in crucial. If I'm Kraus, I stay out there for a lap or 2, see if I can close that gap down and not make my life too difficult as I exit that Joker. We saw in the All-Star Invitational, Craig Williams getting spooked by cars exiting the Joker. Don't want to put yourself in that same sort of position. Salas is clear, 2.5 seconds from the rest of the field. And after a difficult debut for him last year in this World Championship, really did impress from Daytona. Top 5, his first in Rallycross World Championship history. And after pole position last night, got caught out a little bit on strategy, missed his box as well under green flag conditions in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. His championship hopes have come to a close in that World Championship, racing for Space Station Gaming, but here, with the Elliott Sadler Esports team, the 55 car looks to continue to impress as there goes Leskinen very, very wide. From pole position, he is not looking too comfortable. Look at him sending it down the inside. Rafos has to give him space.
Yeah, he's certainly trying a little bit of a slide jump contact over that jump. And well, it shows one little tiny touch when you're mid-air, and there's nothing that you can do about that.
Well, cameraman needs a change of pants, that's for sure. It went flying for the hills. I think that one is for certain. Salas and
Kraus.
Oh, you're right. Kraus is within the window, I think, here. It's close. Is it close enough? There he goes. Commits to the Joker this time around. Where's Bergeron? Just in front of him. Here comes a Nitro Circus car. More momentum. Kraus to 2nd. But can Bergeron steal that position back? He's going to try. The king of the dirt down the inside. Uses the bumper. Don't think it's going to be enough. Salas wins heat number 2. Advances straight to the feature. The Nitro Circus car of Luke Kraus times that Joker to perfection. Finds himself in the feature race of an iRacing World Championship event for the first time in 8 races. My oh my, if the heats continue to intensify like that one did, by heat number 4, who knows how many cars will finish. Salas and Kraus 1 and 2. They'll advance then to our 10-lap feature. Alex Bergeron, Jarno Leskinen, Josh Fox, Thomas Wangen, and Jacob Rafos to the consolation races. It's an old Rahal, Lenneman, Lanigan front row. Jake Robertson, Kevin Ellis Jr. look to try and bounce back after not making it to the feature last time out. Tommy Holman, winner from Daytona. The championship leader will start on the inside of Otto Kaskinen, Tony Latinmaki, Sindre Silva, 5th and 6th positions. The oldest driver on the grid, Johannes Vahanen in the 0-0 car, will line up at the tail end of this field. My word, Paul. I think that everyone knows it's a tough track to pass at. They are showing that by really getting the elbows out on the start.
Yeah, there's an absolute desperation here, and these starts are crucial. It's one of the keys to this track, and we're going to see another start in just a few seconds.
Here we go. Rack 'em, stack 'em, and let them loose at the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway. Rahal, Lenneman, Lanigan on the front row. And we are green from Atlanta. Who's got the best start? Otto Taskinen looks to try and slip it down the middle. He gets bumped by Sindre Silva. He holds onto the car. Tommy Holman almost lost control, but Holman will now try and get to the inside of Kevin Ellis Jr. Not able to do so. Ellis leaps himself over the jump. Holman almost loses control, but it's Robertson, Ellis, Holman 1, 2, and 3. So we dive down into the first corner.
I know Ellis was disappointed not making it through to the feature last time out at Daytona. He'll be desperate to try and get a slot, an automatic slot there, and look at that. Just two drivers, Silva and Robertson, taking to the Joker on this opening lap.
So Kevin Ellis now has to defend from Tommy Holman. Wide they'll go. Gap between Kevin Ellis and the car in front is 7 seconds. 1.7 further up, so Silva, who took to the Joker, might be in a comfortable position if he can just elongate that gap and stretch his legs right now. Back for a second year in this iRacing Rallycross World Championship. But 7.5 seconds then between Silva and Kevin Ellis. It's close. Kevin Ellis now has to time this perfectly, work himself as quickly as he can around the track. Not going to commit this time around. Behind him, that's Latin Mackie, who's being chased down by Taskinen. Taskinen goes this time around in the Nitro Circus car. Looking to make it 2 Nitro Circus cars in that feature race. Side by side with Silva, they'll enter the corner. Taskinen, one of the cleanest drivers in this championship, gets hung out to dry, tries to squeeze Sindre Silva.
Yeah, that Team Yokohama car of Silver is not having none of it, that's for sure. He's wanting to try and hang on to this, but this is just slowing these two down and allowing Kevin Ellis to catch up in all of this. Ellis yet to take the Joker. You can see that on the timing tower there. He is going to be in the prime position for second place.
Yeah, he's already within the window, now 6 seconds in closing, so Kevin Ellis will have a big smile on his face. Tommy Holman hoping not to go, I think, to those last chance qualifier races, but it's trending that way. That Nitro Circus car looks lovely, I must say. The 199 car, well, it's usually Travis Pastrana's number, but Nitro Circus have done a great job bringing that to the sim world and bringing their flamboyance to the iRacing service as well. Looking rearwards from the Porsche Tagore Esport Super Cup race winner, Kevin Ellis Jr., on board now with the championship leader. Holman has some pressure here, Paul, because if he has to go through those last chance qualifiers, there's nothing guaranteed. Unlike what we saw in the All-Star Invitational where 2 drivers advance, only 1 driver from each of those last chance qualifiers will go through. As Holman to the Joker this time around, where is he going to come out? In front of Silva, in front of Taskinen.
Yeah, he will have got the call from his spotter. Get out of that, get out from behind Kevin Ellis. Try and get yourself a little bit of cleaner air, and also try and get onto the tail of Robertson. So that's what we saw there, as we're still seeing this battle between Silva and Taskinen.
So it's half a second between Robertson and Holman. Kevin Ellis is looking good to slide his way between the 45 and the 87. Final trip around the Atlanta Motor Speedway in heat number 3. Oh, these guys going hammer and nail at this right now. Bit of bumping on the entry to the donk slide, but watch out. There's Kevin Ellis, commits. High-speed merge. How close is he going to be to Tommy Holman? They're going to be side by side, but Kevin Ellis Jr. has the position. It's a Rahal, Lenneman, Lanigan, 1 and 2. John Robertson has company in the final. It will be Jake Robertson to take the checkered flag for heat number 3. Kevin Ellis Jr., disappointed to miss out from Daytona, makes his first feature event in the iRacing Rallycross World Championship. That was close and gives you an indication of just how important timing the Joker can be. But for Rahal, Lenneman, Lanigan, after both their cars missed out in Daytona, they both find their way into the feature here in Atlanta. Championship leader and race winner from Daytona, Tommy Holman, has to now head to those qualifiers, while Tony Latin-Mackie, Sindre Silva, Johannes Vahanen, and Otto Taskinen round out the Heat 3 results. Here we go then. Fast and frenetic rallycross action, already time for the final heat of the day. Here's a look at your Yokohama starting grid. Joni Ollikainen lines up on the pole alongside the Australian Bo Albert, looking for more redemption after a very difficult race at Daytona. Rasmus Toivonen will line up inside of Marcos Matamoros, Luis Lejeune, Atu Hakoleto, 5th and 6th position, while Garrett Maines, after an impressive run yesterday in the eNASCAR iRacing Coca-Cola Series, lines up at the tail end of this grid with lots of work to do. It is a field full of Subarus. You saw the one and only Ford in action last time out. That was Johannes Vahanen in the 00. But the Subarus are ready to go. 5 more laps of heat racing action here from Hampton, Georgia. And it looks as though all 7 cars ready to rumble. Engines rev, we are racing. 5 more laps, and Joni Ollikainen has the jump. Marcos Matamoros side by side with Tuominen. Maine sends it down the inside, gets the elbows out. 3 abreast, never going to work. Causes a huge checkup. Joni Ollikainen will lead from Bo Albert, though. There is side by side Luis Lejeune with Atu Hakoleto.
Yeah, Albert wasn't having anybody try and take that second place from him. He was determined, was the Australian, to get ahead. Now, when are people going to take the jokers? Well, the front 2, they take it straight away, as does Hakoleto as well. So 3 drivers. Oh, is that Hakoleto hitting the wall on the exit the joker lap?
I'm curious what happened not just there, but also to Tuominen, who has now dropped to 6th position. So a driver we know has plenty of experience, both in the real world and in the sim, struggling here. There is the Sonax Ed Carpenter car for Luis Lejeune. 4 seconds behind Hakoleto in 3rd. As across the line, lap 1 in the books, Ollikainen, Albert, and Hakoleto have all taken to the joker. It was an almighty send from Garrett Maines, has only got him up into 5th position. As Luis Lejeune looks like he's committing to the joker. Can already tell that he's going to be behind Bo Albert because Albert has gone through that tight left-hander. Lejeune will emerge in 3rd position, 1 second behind the Australian with some work to do. What can the Frenchman do?
I'll be honest with you, I don't think he could do much. He's got to hope that the front 2 make a mistake, possibly off of this jump, because we know from seeing other races here today that that jump is no guarantee for you to come out clean. But right now, Lejeune, he's made a little mistake actually running wide, and that just had him slow down a little bit, and that's just allowed Bo Albert to pull away to 1.5 seconds.
I don't think we're going to see too many changes here, because for Maines on back, the driver is yet to come down onto the joker. About 10 seconds behind Bo Albert in 2nd. So as Albert hangs the rear end out, gets into the grass as well, I have a feeling that Ollikainen and Albert, if they can keep things clean for the next 2 laps, the next 2 miles, they'll find themselves straight through to the feature, on board with the Australian, now in that Altus team house. And I was talking with his spotter, Matt Madigan, after the calamitous race that was Daytona for him. And the one thing that we know is that Bo is a passionate driver, and he exudes that passion whether he's out on track, whether he's streaming these races as well. The one thing that Matt has kind of been helping him with, though, is the mental side of things, Paul, because that is so important when you don't have physical sensations. Relying on your mental state is ultra important, and that's why Matt has been kind of helping Bo with mindfulness, you know, all of that meditation things that can really help you calm down. And so I think the Bo that emerged from Daytona is a very different Bo to the one that would have emerged 12 months ago.
Yeah, when things don't go your way, it's how you react to that. And, you know, Jackie Stewart used to always say, take the emotion out of your driving. Don't let your emotions take over. Think with a clear mind, and you will be very consistent and very successful. And right now, Ollikainen and Albert are doing exactly that here in this final heat.
Lejeune has managed to hold his position in front of Tuominen, who has come down onto the joker. And as we are on the final lap of this race, Ollikainen in control for said Esports. Disappointed to miss out on victory last time around, as Garrett Maines has managed to joker in front of Luis Lejeune. Will give him a good starting position. Ollikainen, Yokohama pole award from Daytona, 2/10 behind his teammate at the line, but he's looking for victory this time out. He wins heat number 4. He'll be followed through into the feature by the Australian Bo Albert. So Garrett Maines, Luis Lejeune, Rasmus Toivonen, Marcos Matamoros, and Atu Hakoleto, the cars that will stack themselves up in one of our 2 last chance qualifiers. And here is the Yokohama starting grid for last chance qualifier number 1. Killian Delhomme, Tommy Holman, the front row, plenty of World Championships experience between the 2 of them. Luis Nunes, Tony Latin-Mackie, both rookies to the series. They share row 2 with Quintin Delhomme, Sindre Silva, 5th and 6th positions. In the U.S. Air Force Ed Carpenter racing car, it's Matt Busa alongside the oldest driver in the series, 38 years old, Johannes Vahanen. Tommi Nukarainen, Otto Taskinen, final row of the grid. 10 cars on the grid. 1 car advances to our 10-lap feature event. And a reminder, you will be able to spot our championship leader not just by the red number, by the red decal as well that's on their windshield over the course of the rest of this season. Tommy Holman, lots of work to do. Was that a jump start from Holman? We'll wait and see. Away we go here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Luis Nunes already down the inside of Quintin Delhomme. They're almost 5 wide entering the corner. Absolute chaos, bumping and barging their way through they go. Delhomme leads, Matamoros around, I think, in the background. Delhomme, Holman, and Tony Latin-Mackie, the top 3. Everyone else has seemed to pick themselves up coming across the start-finish line.
I think it was everybody else who had an accident back there, I'll be honest with you. The front half got through, the rest didn't. And oh, that was a very, very cheeky one because he held the line, normal racing line, then got on the brakes. That just caused the driver, Tommy Holman, just to back off on the brakes. So very, very cheeky there from your driver, Killian Delhomme.
Well, he's trying to make a feature race for the 3rd time in his Rallycross career. Now taking a look at Sindre Silva, who's in 5th position, yet to come down onto the Joker. So Delhomme, Latin-Mackie, Busa, the 3 cars to have jokered. Busa not in a great position. He's already 6 seconds adrift from Delhomme. Latin-Mackie only 5/10 behind your race leader for the time being. So maybe some pressure coming from the 92 car. There is Delhomme, though. Slides his way back onto the asphalt. Under control for now. Using a bit of the anti-cut curve to get himself rotated as well. Interesting to see the different approaches we mentioned. This is a track that has so many different ways you can challenge yourself around it. And with multiple challenges comes multiple different approaches to try and tame the beast. Over the jump, Holman in the background trying to close the gap. He's now 2.5 seconds behind. But he's also 2.5 seconds behind Busa, but he's 9 seconds behind Delhomme. He's not within the window right now, Paul. Holman has to get a move on.
Yeah, he certainly does. And that last lap, he was actually quicker than Delhomme as well. So it's on for Tommy, but you will see a little bit of desperation will come into play in this race, and Holman will be hoping that nobody takes a joker in front of him and ends up blocking him. If they do, he has to take the joker, and that's exactly what's happened to Holman. You can see on the timing screen on the left-hand side, he's managed to just stay ahead there, but Vahanen was certainly putting the pressure on Holman. He couldn't afford to let him through.
That, of course, is the Lonebro GRX machine, the Hemp Fusion Fiesta for Vahanen, as we look on board with your championship leader. Gap is still a bit too big, so he's got to get a move on now. This next lap is going to be crucial as you come around to take the joker on that final lap of the race. Taskinen has gone this time and has cycled in front of Busa. There is the set esports car. Championship leader doesn't want to go out right off the bat, as there goes Quintin Delhomme deep into the corner. Busa sneaks on through. One Delhomme will advance, the other won't. And it looks like Quintin for Kligerman Sport might be looking at a 6th place finish this time around. Here we go, one more lap to go here, Paul.
Yeah, and Tommy Holman about matched the pace of Killian Delhomme. It's going to have to be a lap of the gods here. He's going to take to the joker lap right now is Tommy. And how is the lead going to pan out? And there we see it! Contact between the 2 of them! They're both off!
And Latin Mackie says, thank you very much. I will take my first career feature appearance. Drama and race control has something to take a look at. Heartbreak for Killian Delomo, delight for Tony Latin Mackie, driving with his left hand in a cast, makes his way across the line, makes his way into our 10-lap feature. Otto Taskinen will finish in second, the first driver saying goodbye for today. Tommi Nukarainen, Matt Busa, Quintin Delomo, 4th and 5th positions. But my oh my, race control will be busy in the aftermath of this one. Talked about the danger of the Joker. Killian Delomo, Tommy Holman coming together. Neither driver will advance, and your championship leader will report to race control at the end. Still waiting then for all the cars to cross the line, but my oh my, Rallycross is a contact sport. That's not always what we want to see. One last chance qualifier is done, and we'll get ready for the second one in a moment there. But Paul, heartbreak for Killian Delomo.
Oh, that is it. He was out there at the front. He'd done everything right, had Killian, and it just all fell apart for him right at the end there. And yeah, one little bit of contact, and that's the thing, that's what you get with this Joker Lab. When you cut through, you can just get such a good run compared to those going around the donk slide.
And so here's a look at our Yokohama starting grid for last chance qualifier number 2. The king of the dirt, Alex Bergeron, will be on the front row alongside Garrett Maines. Plenty of World Championship experience shared amongst the two of them. Jarno Leskinen, well, disappointed with how his heat race went, but he'll be alongside the Frenchman Louis Lejeune on row number 2. Two Hanson Williams esports cars in this last chance qualifier. Only one of them might go through. Josh Fox alongside Rasmus Tuominen. Then down in 7th is Thomas Wangen for Team Yokohama. Marcos Matamoros in the eRacer 99 car for Kligerman Sport. While it's a Vermont sports car final row, Jacob Rafos, Atu Hakaleto, the youngest driver pairing in the grid. Both 14 years of age. Lots of work to do. It was a chaotic last chance qualifier number 1. What will we see in the run down into the final couple of corners here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway? 9 cars going home, 1 to start at the tail end of our feature. Here we go. Engines rev. We are ready to race from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. And we are away. Jarno Leskinen's got a launch, but not good enough. It's the Offerpad Subaru that will try and squeeze around the outside. Leskinen onto the anti-cut curbs. Causes a bit of chaos. In control, though, the king of the dirt, Alex Bergeron, over the jump. Under attack from the cars behind.
Yeah, Thomas Wangen. What a start for him, being able to get himself up towards the front. There's contact at the back there. Oh, and there's even more going off here. This shows the desperation of all these drivers trying to make it through, and it's the unluckiest man in IRX, Josh Fox, who's the victim in all of that.
He will be just so bitterly disappointed, was hoping to try and use this track as a run to try and build up his momentum, because this is one of his favorite tracks on the schedule when I talked to him in the build-up to this race. Thomas Wangen from the 4th row on the grid, now up to 2nd, has some work to do to apply the pressure to a multi-time iRacing world champion in front of him. No car took to the Joker last time around. Let's see if anyone goes this time, because Bergeron, as the timing screen updates, Bergeron, Wangen, Rifos, and Maines all took to the Joker. It means Leskinen 10 seconds behind Bergeron. If he can use the clean air here, Paul, he might still be in with a shout.
It's asking a lot, though, isn't it, to try and catch up as Rafos and Wangen battling it out here through the left-hander. More Jokers have been taken then. Lejeune coming to join this battle. Garrett Maines is finding it a bit difficult against Hakaleto. And this is tremendous. 5 cars. Well, surely they can't all go into one corner.
They're going to try, that's for sure. Lejeune Jokering has now worked his way to 3rd. 2.5 seconds between Bergeron and Wangen. Wangen's cut the course. That's going to give him a slowdown penalty. He's not going to get to serve it because Lejeune has turned him around. There's carnage, there's chaos, and it's still going around. Rafos sneaks through into 2nd.
Carnage, chaos, and rallycross. What three combination works together really well as they go through? And Leskinen has taken the Joker lap here, and he's come out behind Bergeron. Now the youngster, he's got to try and somehow do what a lot of people haven't been able to do, and that is make an overtake for the lead in a relatively clean manner.
Well, it's 2 laps to go, and the gap is only about half a second between Leskinen and the car in front. So Main's in third, 5 seconds adrift. Of course, this is not where the focus is. This is where it is, on board with the 13-year-old from Finland. He's got plenty of mentors to rely on, not just 2019 champ Sami Matty Trogan. Look how close to the wall they get through the donk slide. Now hugging themselves through the left-hand sweeper. Leskinen looks quick. Leskinen looks in control. I tell you what, Bergeron got through to the feature race last time around. Leskinen might try and stop him from taking a second consecutive one here.
Yeah, Leskinen wants a better run of it than last time out at Daytona, of course, when he hit the jump wrong and it all fell apart for him. But Bergeron, so much experience here on the dirt side of things, and well, he's in control. He just needs to keep it in the right place on the track and not allow Leskinen any inch.
Into the donk slide. Can Leskinen get to the inside? No, he can't. Bergeron, 3 more corners left to go. He got to the feature last time, trying to become the first multi-disciplined world champion on the iRacing service. Leskinen into the final corner. Bergeron locks the inside tire. Leskinen will take it. The opportunity for Leskinen to shove his way through. The Hansen Williams Esports car gets it done. And the 13-year-old Jarno Leskinen, lots of experience in his shoulders because he took that opportunity with both hands. My, oh my, Bergeron looked so in control, but one mistake and Leskinen pounced. Bergeron 2 tenths behind. He will say goodbye to us now and join us in 7 days from the cornfields of Iowa. Garrett Maines, Marcos Matamoros, Jacob Rafos, Thomas Wangen, Rasmus Torminen, Luis Lejeune, Josh Fox, Atu Hakoleto. The other drivers watching on from the sidelines. Incredible action so far here in Atlanta. 28 cars have been whittled down to just the final 10. You're watching round 2 of the iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama. Don't go anywhere. Feature racing action coming up next on the iRacing Esports Network.
This is iRacing, the world's premier online racing game. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat to experience today's newest form of competitive motorsport, virtual racing, all from your home PC. Race virtually in endorsed series from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, Aussie Supercars and more. Take on legendary circuits like Daytona, Silverstone and the Nürburgring. Join iRacing's global online racing community and get on track today at iRacing.com.
It's been a thriller so far in Hampton, Georgia, but the 10 laps that count are next on the iRacing Esports Network. Welcome 2021 iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama. There's one thing that separates first place from the rest of the pack: the finish line. High-performance, race-inspired Yokohama Advan tires give you the drive to win. Discover Advan at yokohamatire.com. My name is Arjuna Kankipati. Alongside in the commentary booth is Paul Smith. And Paul, well, we said the All-Stars were putting on a show for us. The World Championship drivers have responded. It's been incredible so far. I mean, some of the action in those consolation races, yes, it was a little bit physical, and it's not always what we want to see, but Rallycross is a contact sport, and now 10 more laps. It's only going to get more physical from here.
Yeah, we saw last week what a tremendous feature race we had out there and at Daytona. This one, it will be a little bit more physical because it is restricted how you can overtake around this track, but we've got 10 of the very best Rallycross drivers here on the iRacing service taking part in this feature race, and they have truly deserved it. Leskinen, king of the opportunism, he managed to get himself into this feature race at the very, very last moment.
And so as warm-up goes on, drivers get 5 more minutes to acclimatize themselves to the track, especially those who've locked themselves into the feature from that Heat 1 and have been watching on since then. Here's a look at the schedule. Atlanta Motor Speedway today. We'll head to the Iowa Speedway, the fastest short track on the planet when it comes to oval racing, but we'll instead go slinging some virtual dirt. The final of our first 3 rounds, that sees us in the US. Then we'll go to Brands Hatch and Paul. I mean, no British bias, but one of your favorite tracks on the schedule.
Certainly is, and one that I'm looking forward to seeing how these drivers compete there. We've never been there in the iRacing World Championship. Same for Barcelona as well. Brand new track to the series, and it's going to be interesting to see how they all compete there.
And so 9 unique venues, that's also so much fun. The fact that no repeat visits to any particular track means drivers really have to be on their game. Here's a look then at the point structure, and that will lead us into talking about how the point situation looks heading into this feature. 15 points to the winner, all the way down to 1 point for 10th. So while there is an advantage to winning, very much the point structure rewards consistency through qualifying, through the heat races, and now in the feature as well. Talking then of the live point situation, let's show that to you as well. You can see that on the right-hand side of your screen. And Tommy Holman, after missing out on this feature race, is in a very tricky situation. It's very early doors in the championship, Paul, but ultimately, he's missing out on any points here in Atlanta.
Yeah, this is key here, and Olakainen, he'll be looking to get himself some really, really good points in this feature race. But you know, you've got someone like Johan Harth, our previous champion in 2020, and John Robertson. Those two both know what it's like to be involved in the championship battle. This is going to be a very, very interesting finale.
10 laps left at Atlanta, and they are the most exciting 10 laps of the weekend. Let's take a look then at our Yokohama starting grid, because it is Johan Harth on pole position, the reigning, defending iRacing Rallycross World Champion. Had a disappointing race weekend from Daytona, looks to bounce back here in Atlanta. Vicente Salas was impressive at Daytona, equally impressive here. He'll line up on the outside of the front row with Jake Robertson, Joni Olakainen, 3rd and 4th position. 12 months ago, John Robertson won here in Atlanta, but lots of work for him to do from 5th position. He's alongside the Nitro Circus car of Luke Krause. Kevin Ellis Jr., Bo Albert, 7th and 8th positions, with Tony Latin-Mackie, Jarno Leskinen, the 2 drivers working their way through the last chance qualifiers. From the tail end, what can they do for Leskinen? Another race where he started at the tail end of this field. It's going to be fun, but the tension is building. Can Salas take his first Rallycross victory? Or will someone pip him? Could it be the reigning defending champion? We are ready to race in Atlanta. Rack them up, stack them up, and send them flying. As already, it's a great launch from Joni Olakainen, but some contact with Salas opens the door for Bo Albert to send it 3 wide down the inside. Arthur bullies Salas, not going to be bullied. Is the native from Temecula, California. Salas around the outside. Salas to the race lead.
That is a tremendous one, although don't write out Johan Harth. No, there it is. Salas then to the front of this one. Absolutely tremendous start then. And, well, Vicente, he's not one for not giving up without a fight. And straight away, look at that, 2 onto the Joker lap straight away. That's Harth, and that's Jake Robertson.
Is there a car around in the Joker? I'm not sure exactly, but we'll have to wait and see. John Robertson follows Salas around then with Joni Olakainen right behind him. Not the best of starts for Joni Olakainen. There's Jarno Leskinen into 2nd place after starting 10th in the grid. He's only 1 second behind Harth. Luke Krause, the other car to take to the Joker. We'll have to wait and see how things shuffle out, Paul.
I think it was Robertson, by the way, Jake Robertson, because he was in 3rd place, but then Luke Krause has ended up in front of him. So something has happened for Jake in that Joker lap.
I think we talked about slowdowns earlier in the day, I think during the All-Star Invitation. I think that's what we've seen as Salas goes to the Joker this time around, I think. Yes, he does, and he's in front of Johan Harth. So the battle for the race lead has put the Californian in front of the Frenchman.
Oh, this is tremendous. This is brilliant stuff to see. And you always want to see new challengers, new people fighting for a championship. And Vicente right now, he's got to keep his cool because Johan Harth will put him under so much pressure for the final 7 laps here.
And so now we look at John Robertson, the next car to try something into the Joker. He is 10 seconds behind your leader. So Robertson needs to set pedal to the floor, full afterburner mode, and try and close that gap in. We're looking rearwards from the Elliott Sadler Esports car. Look how close to the wall Johan Harth gets. We'll also get the onboard look with Salas. Pole position winner last night in Talladega. In the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, slightly wide, opens the door for Harth, just a little bit too far behind. Over the jump they go.
Yeah, if you ever want to have somebody who's confident in sort of close, intense battles, then, you know, having somebody involved in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series is certainly one that you want in your car. And right now, Salas is doing a fantastic job for that Elliott Sadler Esports team.
Last time around, Robertson took 3/10 out of your race leader. So Robertson is coming, but he's only got about 6 laps left to take to the Joker and try and make something happen. This is your Rallycross World Champion, being a very busy man in the next couple of weeks, because not just competing here, trying to defend his title, also running in the Force Dynamics Dallara iRacing Grand Prix Championship. Tomorrow he'll be racing from Interlagos. So switching gears very, very quickly. Kevin Ellis Jr. is taking to the Joker, has emerged in front of Jarno Leskinen. These guys in trouble and in danger of being jumped, not just by John Robertson, but potentially Joni Ollikainen as well. Was some contact early in this race, and I think Bo Albert, the big loser. And so for a second consecutive week, Paul, yes, Bo Albert has at least made it to the feature this time around, but once more, being shoved around in the Altus Team House.
Yeah, he needs to learn how to possibly give it out before he gets dished it. And I think he's just in that wrong place at the wrong time at the starts there, and he always ends up seeming to be on the wrong end of that stick. And but he's such a nice guy. He's so good to talk to, but he'll be absolutely livid in that car, and he's so far back as well. Well, that's not the line to take through there, Luke.
Yeah, and that's going to give him a slowdown penalty as well. So Jake Robertson will take advantage up into 5th position. Krause was looking potentially on for his first top 5 finish in his first career feature race appearance. Kevin Ellis Jr. then still under attack from the 13-year-old Jarno Leskinen. There'll be 4 laps to go this time around. Harth and Salas still just separated by 0.2 of a second. Frenchman is doing all he can to work over the rear end as we jump on board with the Subaru Motorsports USA car, but not able to perturb Salas just yet, using those anti-cut curves through the asphalt that takes you through the first half a lap here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, and in towards the donk slide. Still just a little bit too far behind. John Robertson now well and truly in the Joker window. 8 seconds is the gap between Salas and Robertson.
Yeah, John is putting in some really, really good times, just ever so slightly quicker than your race leaders. So he needs to keep this up. He needs to keep going. He's got enough of a gap between himself and Luke Krause, but if he gets within about the 1.5 to a second of Luke Krause, that's when he needs to take the Joker lap, or else he will get held up.
Harth is searching, but just nowhere to go. I mean, that's what makes this track so fun, Paul, is the fact that, yes, you theoretically can pass everywhere. We saw that with the All-Stars. But as Harth knocks down the wall through the donk slide side by side on exit, to actually get the move done is a totally different ball game. These guys are costing each other time, more contact between the two of them.
And that's a crucial thing that you mentioned right there. They're costing each other time. This fighting here is allowing John Robertson the opportunity to catch up to them.
Oh, there was a bit more contact, side by side over the jump. Harth will have the inside for the first corner, but it's going to be last to the late breaker. Salas squeezes the defending champion, but it's too little, it's too late. The Frenchman back to the race lead.
Oh, Vicente's not going to give this one up there. Gets into the back of Harth. He's sideways, and Salas is back to the front.
Robertson should joker now. Robertson should take advantage. And does he do it? No, he doesn't. He's going to wait till the last lap of the race. You can see the front ends of both of these cars knocked in. Joni Ollikainen, the car that takes to the joker this time around. He'll emerge in front of Kevin Ellis Jr. and not too far behind the battle for the race lead either.
Yeah, you've got to use that chrome horn at the front there to try and just move people out your way. Nothing too malicious. Just assist them around the corner, but this is to start the final lap here, and all eyes are on John Robertson.
Here we go, one more mile to decide this all. Look at the train of cars that's formed up behind Salas. They'll go through the donk slide. We'll watch for John Robertson in the Subaru Motorsports USA, the blue and gold. Here we go. It will be close. Is it close enough? In front of Harth, in front of Salas. Oh my word, John Robertson has timed the joker to perfection. 12 months ago, John Robertson came to the Atlanta Motor Speedway and took his first iRacing Rallycross World Championship win. In his quest for the title, Robertson returns and wins once more. As we say, hello John Robertson, welcome back to Victory Lane. Incredible. A track notoriously difficult to pass out has already delivered a classic for the ages. Vicente Salas will be thinking, oh my word, what more could I have done? Johan Harth made his life oh so difficult.
Oh, and that battle in between the two of them, we said that was going to be the key to John Robertson getting a chance, and that's where he took it. He was able to get the jump on them. Absolutely brilliant stuff from John to keep that pressure up.
This is already shaping up to be the best season we've had since 2018. 2019 was great, 2020 was great, but my oh my. John Robertson winner by 0.4 of a second from Vicente Salas for Elliott Sadler Esports. Subaru Motorsports USA 1 and 3. Johan Harth completes the podium. Joni Ollikainen struggles at the starts, but then comes across the line in 4th. Kevin Ellis Jr. in his first feature event also locks up his first top 5. Jarno Leskinen went through the wars. Pole position in his heat, dropped to the tail end of his heat then, and had to fight his way through the last chance qualifiers to a 6th place finish. Tony Latinmaki in 7th, Jake Roberts in 8th, Bo Albert behind Luke Kraus. You can see almost 3.5 seconds between Kraus and Albert. Lots of these drivers with plenty of contact, lots of these drivers showing us just how competitive and how much stronger this grid has gotten since 2018. Incredible, absolutely incredible the amount of action Rallycross can deliver. You're watching the 2021 Rallycross iRacing World Championship presented by Yokohama. Post-race coverage coming up next on the iRacing Esports Network. Welcome back to the Atlanta Motor Speedway as round 2 of the 2021 iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama is in the books. There's one thing that separates first place from the rest of the pack. the finish line. High-performance, race-inspired Yokohama Advan tires give you the drive to win. Discover Advan at yokohamatire.com. For the second time in 12 months, John Robertson is a winner here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. The drivers put on a show here, Paul, and just like we saw at Daytona, it's an exceptionally close finish. Can't wait to get to the Iowa Speedway because I have a feeling these close finishes, this incredible action, is just going to continue rolling on.
My mind is blown with that one. That was tremendous. That was brilliant action. And that battle between Salas and Johan Harf is what cost them both a victory here today. John Robertson kept it clean, kept in the clean air, and was able to get the jump on them on the last lap. Absolutely sensational stuff here.
And with that, we are ready then for post-race interviews. And let's bring in the reigning, defending iRacing Rallycross World Champion, clearly talking with some of his fellow competitors. Paul Smith is standing by with Johan Harf.
Oh, Johan. Oh, my goodness. What a race that was out there today. I mean, yeah, you get a podium place. You finish third place here, but you must be thinking, oh, so close to getting a win.
Yeah, so close, yet so far. Gonna miss quality. Should have been up there with John. We gonna all miss quality apart from John. It was the only one to deliver. So yeah, I think we had the car to really stick it 1, 2, 3, 4 on the grid with the Apex guys in the RLL car. And yeah, really good race with Vicente. Hopefully it was some great on the end. Yeah, just that small contact at the end that sort of tipped me around. Probably cost us both the win, with John being only 18th or second ahead of us.
Yeah, it's the IRX Championship is just a margin of milliseconds, isn't it? It's just one little contact, one little rub, and before you know it, you're down 2 places here. But looking at the season as a whole, though, you've had a good solid start to the season in your defence of the championship. You're looking for a win next time out. I could tell by your behaviour you want a win next time out.
Yeah, definitely going for the win next time. Although I'm pretty disappointed with the start of the season, it's still a better start than happened at the end of the season. I won the championship, so yeah, we're still up there and got a fair shot.
Well, Johan, thank you so much for joining us, and even though you're not happy with it, congratulations on a podium finish here today.
Thanks, Paul.
So that's the defending iRacing Rallycross World Champion. Let's take it over to the second step of the podium where Vicente Salas is standing by. And Vicente, I've got to say, my word, you have really stepped your game up this year. I mean, fair to say, I think that last year didn't go the way that you would have been hoping, but you've started this campaign off in just incredible fashion, so close to your first career victory. Johan Harf playing the team game there, potentially. Just a bit of contact between the two of you checked up the momentum, and John Robertson took full advantage.
Yeah, I think honestly we had one of the quickest cars there, if not the quickest car. You know, I've been trying to really adjust my driving style to Rallycross, coming from the NASCAR side with a completely different way of maneuvering the car. But overall, I think we've really built on this Subaru well. Last year, obviously, we ran the Beetle and didn't go too well for us. But the main guy to thank for a majority of the speed is Jarrett Liebert. I mean, I couldn't do this without him with my busy eNASCAR schedule. So big thanks to him.
And well, you know, disappointment for you yesterday at Talladega in that eNASCAR campaign. Of course, pole position started off great for you, but your championship hope kinds of, ended after that. Talk to us about managing the two campaigns. Of course, you had to qualify your way back to this series as well. Obviously, the likes of Jarrett Liebert helping you out, but 2 weeks from now, that campaign comes to an end at Texas, and you'll be full focus on this one. I have no doubt that we'll potentially see you in victory lane come the end of this campaign.
Yeah, I think I'm really excited to be able to focus full on this campaign and this racing. I've always loved Rallycross since I got on iRacing, so I've always wanted to put my main focus into it. Obviously, with the eNASCAR schedule and just how many races there are, I've kind of had to put this to the side a little bit and still put some focus into it. But I think the sky is the limit with us when we can put all of our focus into this. I'm really excited.
And so I'm guessing a victory is the very lowest expectation you kind of have for yourself. I mean, what are you hoping for the rest of the season now after how this has gone for you?
Honestly, I think if we can just have good weeks and keep good points, that there's no reason why we can't be in a fight for, a top 3 position in points at the end of the season.
Congratulations, Vicente. Really great performances from you these opening couple of weeks. We'll see you in Iowa in 7 days' time.
Thank you so much. And if I could really thank Miramar Financial, JDR Graphics, everyone at Elliott Sadler Esports, Jarrett Liebert, Donovan Strauss, Josh Kosick for all helping me out with these races, and iRacing and you guys for putting on the show.
And you put on a show for us, Vicente. Congratulations. What a run from the Temecula, California native. Now let's get to our race winner. John Robertson was on the podium 7 days ago and said that he was looking to head into victory lane here at Atlanta. Backs up his victory from 12 months ago. John, you must be a very happy man.
Yeah, I'm still shaking after that. That was definitely a tricky one. To have to kind of come from where I started and do it on pace. It makes it interesting for sure. But yeah, that was close coming out the Joker. I had no idea if I was going to have it or not. So yeah, I'm so happy.
And you talked to us about how close this field was last week. Atlanta's such a tough place to pass, and we still managed to have an even closer fight than I think some of us kind of expected. For you, I think the key was when you didn't joker, getting those clean laps in and really timing your joker to the last lap. Were you getting the word from your team that Johan and Vicente were really scrapping it out side by side? Because I do have to be honest, I think if Johan kind of hadn't slowed down Vicente, I think that it would have been neck and neck between you two coming off the Joker. And, you know, at Atlanta, anything can happen between, that Joker merge.
Yeah, I had a little bit of information in my ear, but for the most part, I knew I had the clear space in front of me, so it was just get my head down, put the laps in, and then see where we ended up on the last lap. But for sure, like me and Johan all week, we've been neck and neck in practice, so it would have been close, but yeah, I haven't watched the replay yet, so I need to see what happened.
And I can see the smile on your face. Great to have your brother in the feature event as well. How are you two going to celebrate? Because of course, you two are racing side by side, just rooms apart.
Yeah, I'll go and see him now. I don't even know where he finished in that, to be honest. But I know he started quite high up, so it's definitely a good round for him after he didn't make the feature last round.
We're looking forward to seeing you then from Iowa in 7 days' time. Congratulations on your second career victory, John. Can't wait to see how the rest of the season unfolds. So that is John Robertson from Victory Lane, the second time in his career, and the second time he's won from this very track itself. Let's take a look then at the live points situation, Paul, because we talked about Tommy Hoolman not getting those feature points, really going to now be down the order, and indeed he's down to 4th. And of course, John Robertson is in the championship lead, but 1 point, yes, 1 point separates him from Joni Ollikainen. The ultra impressive Vicente Salas sits in 3rd, and I wasn't joking when I talked to him. I really think we'll see Vicente in victory lane before the end of this season. I wouldn't be surprised if he's fighting for the championship come the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, these early stages of the championship is what builds your championship battle. If you can get yourself some really, really good, solid points in these early stages, it gives you so much confidence going forward for the rest of the championship. And you look at Ollikainen, 2nd last time out, 4th this time out in the feature race. He's put himself in a very good spot in 2nd place. But Jonathan Robertson, my goodness, that was a tremendous performance in that feature race to stay cool, calm and collected and take that joker lap on the final lap.
And you can see as well the importance of consistent points, right? Because Johan Hart hasn't really necessarily been the most impressive in qualifying. That shows he's 10 points behind his teammate out front, even though Hart has been in both of the feature races, finished no lower than 4th. Consistency is king. John Robertson said coming into this season when I talked to him, he knows exactly at which races last year he threw away the title. He's not looking back, he's looking forward. My oh my, this is the strongest grid we have, and it's going to be the potentially closest title fight we have as well. We'll take a look at the schedule one more time before we say goodbye, Paul. 9 unique venues, and Iowa is up next.
Yep, Iowa, it's one to look forward to. Always close, tight action around that venue as well. So make sure you join us for next week. It's going to be a cracker.
And so that's going to wrap things up here then on the iRacing Esports Network. We've got a couple more minutes just to talk about what has been. All-Stars put on a show. The World Champions put on a show as well. One driver that I think we'll see a lot more from this season, Paul, Jarno Leskinen. 2 feature races this season. He pipped Alex Bergeron, the king of the dirt, 22 iRacing World Championship victories to Bergeron's name. But Leskinen saw the door wide open. He took it with both hands, forcing his way through into the feature.
Yeah, ever the opportunist, wasn't he, to be able to take that spot right at the death of that last chance qualifier. And he's one who, you know, gets a bit more experience under his belt. I think he'll be one to look out for in the future. Maybe not a challenger this year in the championship, but certainly a really keen talent. And at only 13 years old, my goodness, it makes my grey hairs really come out in my beard. But certainly one to keep an eye on.
Well, I tell you what, we'll say goodbye for now. So many of these drivers already looking forward to what is next. Iowa Speedway and what the challenges presented there are. From the Atlanta Motor Speedway, then round 2 of this iRacing Rallycross World Championship is in the books, but it's a busy week of iRacing Championship action. Yesterday saw Bobby Zelensky, Keegan Leahy, Mitchell DeYoung, and Logan Clampett lock themselves into the race for $100,000 in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. Today, we saw John Robertson win in Hampton, Georgia. Tomorrow, live on the iRacing Esports Network, the Force Dynamics Dallara iRacing Grand Prix Championship heads to Sao Paulo and Interlagos for its 3rd round in 2021. Catch the action at 7 p.m. UTC or 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back in 7 days' time as the virtual paddock sets up shop in the cornfields at the Iowa Speedway for round 3 of the iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama. Until then, we'd like to thank you for joining us on the iRacing Esports Network. On behalf of the entire team at iRacing, for our producer Tyler Maxon, for my co-commentator Paul Smith, my name is Arjuna Kankipati. Congratulations to John Robertson, winner in the Peach State.